Guys, I just wanted to go over a few things so we can basically be on the same page. There's just a couple of things that I really want to go over because it really has been on my mind, and honestly, somebody has to say it. Um, there's a few things that have been brought to my attention, and there's some things that I am allowed to say, and I don't think that the way things have been handled, it's not been handled in the way it should be handled. So I think I'm going to have to say a few things for people to understand. Sometimes when you take it to these lengths and you're involving yourself in certain situations, and you're also as well being at the side of people that are involving themselves in situations, unfortunately, sometimes the consequences are there. I think um, when a lot of people have been saying to me, Keisha, um, I don't believe some of these people that are sharing children, they have the mindset to be predatory. Um, the excuses, the white noise, the silence on it is not for me. And I'm one of them people, if I don't think that people are giving certain things the justice the way it needs to be, I really will say something. I do believe in the past couple of weeks, well, past couple of months, what we've witnessed between them all and what's come out recently. I don't just believe that's the tip, I just believe that's the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more. I do believe that certain individuals, which I'm not going to sit here and go over, but I do believe that there's more to come. You don't want to believe these kind of things are going to happen, but sometimes it does happen. And I think for me, it's been fantastic to sit back and just take it all in and listen to everybody's side and listen to what everybody's been saying and just sit back and monetize the whole situation without actually going in, for the kill and actually saying something that I know I'm going to end up regretting. So for me, I have been watching and I've just been listening more times than actually getting involved because I don't really want to be in the midst of being involved with that side. Now, one thing as well today stood out, especially when it comes to Miss Blue and the situation with her. Now, for me, sometimes when I'm listening, I think to myself, sometimes people can have this victim mentality and they can feel sorry for themselves and they're never to blame and they never be able to take any responsibility. And usually it's very hard for them to apologise or for them to admit where they've gone wrong. That's what some of these people, the individuals that we've been surrounding ourselves around, this is the kind of personalities that we're getting. People that don't see when they're wrong, people that are happy to judge others without even having the evidence, people that are happy to go up and be a part of things they know nothing about. The thing about me is I acknowledge everything. I also sometimes when I'm looking at situations, I like to look at it from somebody else's point of view. And that's what I've been doing for the past couple of weeks. I've been trying to look at certain situations from other people's point of views. And I've acknowledged lots of people's sides and how they've expressed things. And we're not all the same. So the way people have, I've heard them say whatever they thought about certain situations, it's going to be totally different to what I think. So what I've been thinking is maybe not what you've been thinking. And the reason why you're not thinking that is because this is what happens in society. This is why a lot of children are not being protected. This is why you have a lot of slack people in the world that are slack. And the easily open doors, whether it's in front of them, whether it's at the back of them, they easily can open a door. And that's what's happening on here. A lot of people are opening doors to bad people, to serious, dangerous people, predatory people, people that basically they have a motive. So what I think I've been dealing with and the people that I've been around, which clearly today Even when that other lady, that blue lady said, I've been dealing with this for 19 months. They've been accusing me of this for 19 months and they've just found out that it wasn't me. I thought to myself, the reality is I don't want to be arguing with these people for 19 months. I don't want to continue to argue with these people for 19 months. I do feel quite satisfied with how things are going. And to be honest, the way things seem, I do feel like my energy, the way I've been, and I've been better off deactivating my main, just having this account, blocked everybody that was negative, and tried to focus on the positive. Because the reality is that they're never going to change. I can change tomorrow. I can upgrade myself in 5 months. I can be all right. But once you grasp it and you understand, these people, they're not me and I am not them. And some of the things that, the positive things I think that people have been saying rather than the negatives, I think that's impacted as well. I'm a very close off person. I don't really like to be around that many people. I don't really like to be in calls. I don't really like to text. I'm not really interested to go to know what's going on. If it involves me, then it's my business. If it involves my child, then it's my business. A lot of people have had my daughter's name in their mouths. A lot of people have involved themselves when it's come to my daughter. A lot of people have sat on panels when my daughter's been discussed in such a way. A lot of people have played a part with violating me and my motherhood to the point where they've made me feel uncomfortable. And them kind of things, that's what comes with a consequence. Not he said, she said. Not she spoke to me like shit, so I'm going to get her knocked out. Not she's, went on another team and I need to go get her. No, it doesn't work like that. When people violate the people that you love and people violate even yourself, it comes to the point where you have to be able to take risks, okay? Because what happens is people keep thinking that they can keep talking about you, they can keep spreading lies about you, they can keep having this agenda, and it's based on what? False pretenses. I'm not trying to be involved in any of that. My story is for me is that I don't care what I've said and what I've done and what's been put out. What I care about is what was said about my daughter and who was there when it was being said. Who started this whole situation when it comes to my daughter. That's all I care about. I don't care about she said this, she's done that. There's 3 people, including a man, that's been trolling me for a very long time. And that justice for me, it will be served. It will be served, but in the right way. When it comes to my daughter now, that is a different situation. Nobody, and I mean nobody comes for my child. Nobody tries to incite any hate. Nobody gets the chance to get away with that. So these are the consequences for me. You need to understand. It's not down to dragging that person because they've slagged me off. It's not down to coming for that person because they've said that about me. I understand my own actions and my own consequences, but I'm one of them people. I only do what's right for me and what's right for around me. I don't think about anything else. I don't think about what other people are saying in my ear or what they need from me. I only think about what I need. And I think moving forward for me is there's a lot of things that I've put in place. There's a lot of things that I've put in place for myself. There's a lot of things where I need to be stress free and to be in that space of not being around anybody and just being able to build myself back up. And it's kind of given me a bit more strength seeing them how they've been and realizing that they're never going to stop. and I have the chance to be able to build things and do what I need to do, create that space to be able to build myself back up, get back in that environment of not even thinking about what they've said about me or what they're doing about me. With my daughter's situation, that's never going to go away until I feel satisfied and until I feel like there's been justice served. Anything else, I don't care about any of that. With my main account, Her Majesty, I have deactivated it because I want to rebrand the whole thing for when I come back, and that will be around October time. I'll still be coming in to check in now and again, and obviously I'll be always with Warrior, not like on the panels or anything like that, but just getting on with things. My kid's dad, my daughter, they're fine, they're happy with the situation, I'm happy with the situation, and I just want to be able to build myself back up. Whilst I'm building myself back up, it's not going to be healthy for me to be around any of them spaces or to even like repost, post, or even be involved with any of that. I think the seriousness of what's come out recently as well is enough for certain individuals to drown themselves. They'll drown themselves. And I remember a couple of months ago, I was speaking to somebody in the background that's not on TikTok anymore, and they were saying, Keisha, you don't have to do anything. They'll do it to themselves. And that person was right. They'll do it to themselves. Sometimes people just do it to themselves. So for me, I feel a little bit at ease. I feel a little bit I feel a little bit better within myself because I have a plan now. I have a vision of what I need to do, what I want to do, where I want to go, and how I want to be. I've made a few mistakes along the way. We can't take away from that. I've made a few mistakes, which I'll have to explain at some point, maybe have a conversation about it at some point. But I think with my situation, with everything that I've gone through, and I think the people that have attacked me, with everything that's been said and how I've had to basically protect myself in such a way. Terrible things have been said, things have come out. I've expressed myself in such a way that I think I was very angry, very, very, very angry. But I do feel a sense of like I've took back control, which it feels good because I don't want to be in the sense of being negative, being angry, saying this, saying that, doing this, doing that. Let it all just happen at its own pace. There's no rush in the situation. And for me, stepping away, seeing that's not healthy, that's not healthy, that's not good for me. Don't engage with that, don't do that, and just try to take clear steps, positive steps to try and rebuild myself. I think that is the best thing for me. So it does feel good because I felt like I was out of control. I felt like I was out of control. When, do you know, like it gets to the point where sometimes you feel like there's no going back. And I have always been able to control my emotions. I've always been able to control my thoughts, my mental health. And it got to a stage where I didn't feel like I could control any of it. Not controlling yourself, not controlling anything around you is a scary thought. It's a scary situation to be in. And when you're not in control and everything is out of your control, you do start losing it. Whereas what reminds me every day and what I should have always been reminding myself of is how far I've come. How far I've come and all the obstacles that I've been able to get over. I've been able to conquer so many things. I've been able to fight battles. I've been able to sit in silence. I've been able to win. I've been able to be on the ground. I've been able to pick myself back up again. And I do believe that's the most admirable thing about myself is the strength. And I think what really hurt me the most and what really impacted me is because my strength, I was being tested. And the more I was looking at myself and looking at myself and asking myself these questions of why I cannot change, why can I not go back into being calm, why can I not control these emotions, why can I not control myself, why is everything out of control, why am I losing control within my parenting, why am I losing control with this situation. A lot of things, yeah, was just making me very ill. Now, some of this stuff like a lot of people don't know in my life and what my life has consist of. Some things can trigger me, some things can't. Whereas certain things, I think it really triggered me and it brought me back to my childhood. Maybe I needed to revisit it. Maybe I needed to go back. Maybe I needed to get that last bit of angriness or whatever I had inside of me out. I needed it out. Maybe it was battling for so long, holding everything together, holding this persona, not being real, not just being able to just say exactly how I feel, struggling on the outside, not actually just being honest with myself. That was the wake up call. Once I'm realizing that my body is changing, my mind wants better, I need to set myself free. Then I started realizing, right, my parenting, I want to be better than what I am. I don't want to be a control freak. I don't want to put everything in line. I don't want to do this, do that, do this, do that. I don't want to, be like a robot. Okay, but at the same time, I want to still have boundaries. I want to have, there's respect. I want to have certain things that I can be able to implement when I'm strong enough. Sometimes that you lose yourself, and others around you, they then can become can become that strong person, and it's like, hold on a minute, I'm supposed to be the strong one. So I think things for me, it was just a sense for me of being able to reprogram my mind again, coming off the weed, which was the biggest wake up call, because I should never have been smoking. That has been my biggest downfall this past year. I would say from last year till going into this year, should never have done it. Never, ever. With my baby daddy getting out, that was a big, massive impact as well, because a lot of people don't understand. My baby daddy is the best dad to my daughter and will do anything for my daughter. That's not a problem. And it's never been a problem. Me and my kid's dad's relationship, it's on and off. So he's fantastic with Maria, everything's there, but there's just things that can impact me. Maybe things that have happened in the past where it triggers me, which that doesn't take away him being a good dad. So all of that stuff with the dad, there's things that when I went to Spain and obviously got rid of the house and got rid of things and then come back from Spain to Leeds, I just went straight in that house, and then I went straight in that house, from straight to that house, then from that house, and then obviously I got my house. A lot of things have happened within the process of that, and I think fighting these people as well, losing myself at the same time, fighting to try and, because my scenario was this, there wasn't getting away with it, and I couldn't get out of not being able to not get to the end. It was also almost like a theatrical movie that I was playing in my mind, and it was getting very dangerous. It was taunting me. It was making me have sleepless nights. I was up for months trying to figure out who was who, what was what. It got to the point where I even thought I could even do jail time. I'm counting how many days I could do in jail, the timing of the jail that I could do, when I could go into jail, when I would come out of jail. And it got to the point where my mind was going overtime. So I do think for me, a lot of this, I don't want to sit here and say, oh my God, yeah, I don't apologise for my actions, because honest to God, I agree with exactly what I did and why I did it. I think I understand why I did it. And I think if I didn't have a little bit of a wake up call to say, listen, there's more out there, you can do better, you've got to have better, you've got to do better. I'm in a better position, and this is being tight, but I'm in a better position than a lot of people on here. A well better position than a lot of people on here. And I'm not just saying that to be big headed or anything like that, but I have got a well more better chance to live a better life. It's just that I need to get the hell away from this whole situation, come back and rebrand fresh on the Her Majesty's account and delete all of the photos, come back when I've had the surgery, because that's all I'm thinking about getting done is my teeth. I don't know about the other stuff, maybe I was just rushing into all that stuff and not feeling myself, but I know I'm getting my teeth done for myself because I really want to go into the interviewing, and I'm just going to rebrand that way and have a chance to do that on my main account, which I've built without even doing the drama. That's been built before I even had a license, before I even could even drive, before I even did anything. I was doing lives, just having 1K people in, doing lots of fun lives, nothing of the sort of what I've been doing, mixing around with what I've been doing. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say every single thing that I've done, right, has been everybody else. But I can say 95% of what's happened to me and why I've retaliated is because somebody don't like me and then one of their friends don't like me. One of their friends don't like me. One of their other friends have said something nasty about me. One of their other friends have done an AI about me. One of their other friends have trolled me, and it's just been endless. Now you have to imagine, I've never tried to bully. I've never tried to create an army. Never tried to create any kind of force. Even when I had the clout, I wanted to share it. And people in my life that are powerful sit me down and say, Keisha, why is it every time that you get what you want, you give it away? Why is it that every time that you're at the top, why do you always bring yourself back down to the bottom? Do you not think that people around me don't see what I'm doing or when I'm self-destructing? But there's only so much they can say. There's only so much they can do till they have to step away from me until I make the right choices. I've lost a lot of people, and I'm not talking about being on social media. I'm talking about people that you don't see with me on social media, people that really love and care for me. So what I have to do is I have to really make that decision and say to myself, if I continue to be on here, like with the Tom situation, right? Yeah, he's doxed the children, right? We know he's doxed the children, he's been caught. A lot of people want me to come up, go on the Majesty's account and have it out with him and Jenny. They want me to go up and say whatever's been happening with the Delmac situation, and I get it. I get it. Yeah, what they've done is they've been caught. But at the same time, you have to see it like this. I am wasting energy. I'm just wasting energy. Okay? I want to find peace. I was mentally ill, yeah, which doesn't take away everything that I've done, because the things that I've done is only because the people have caused me alarm and distress. There's people that have said a lot of hurtful things about me and put a lot of slander on my name. That's not hurt me more than what they did with my daughter situation. That's what hurt me. That is what I will not forget. That is what people will not get away with. Anything else, I don't care. I'm not bothered what Tom said, what Jenny's saying tomorrow, what they're saying. I don't care about any of that anymore. I care about what happened and what was said about my daughter. That's it. And the people that was involved with that, the people that was sat there and engaged with that, and the people that had issues with whatever they did with distributing children, if it was my kid, there's going to always be an issue, and that will be for the rest of your life. And for me, I won't sit up here anymore and go for people. I'm not having a say on none of them. I don't want to be a part of it. I had a quiet conversation with Worry this morning, and I've been on this lady's panel to make them aware of why I come for Jojo and why she's got herself in this mess. Nobody wants to feel unsafe at the house. Nobody wants to think when people are going to be coming. Nobody wants to see men coming to their houses and their shit being smashed up. Nobody wants their next door neighbour's shit being smashed up. But when you are involved with something to do with children, you have to see this. If somebody came through your door, you're going to protect your kids. If somebody molested your kids, you're going to protect your kids. If somebody takes photos of your kids, whether you see it as indecent images, whether you see it as it's normal, you're going to take things into your own hands, whether it's an auntie, whether it's an uncle, whether it's a distant family member. Kids are off limits. Now, guess what? If any one of yous lot ever caught me with any of your children or me distributing any of your children, I'd expect yous to hunt me down. And whatever happens to me, happens to me. Okay, whether there's people living next door, whether there's neighbours over the road with children, whatever happens to me because I should never have been involved with anything like that if that was the case. Kids are off limit, and parents, you need to see it like this. A lot of people, children, they get molested, and they get molested because a lot of the parents, they're easily coming on this kind of app and opening the door to predators. So what will happen is when a serious situation to do with kids and people sharing kids, you'll have other people that will say things like, I don't believe they've done it in a predatory way. I don't believe they're distributing kids because they're into kids. I don't believe, well, guess what? When you think like that, you're taken away from a child that's been molested. You always need to think like that. You always need to have them kind of thoughts in your mind if them kind of things are occurring. Now, if somebody's stealing out the shop, okay, and they're going to constantly come back, you're going to have that thought as the security guard that this person is constantly stealing, right? That's what they're known for, stealing. When somebody's distributing photos, you do not have the right, okay, to turn around on social media just because you've known this person for a year, for 6 months, for 7 months, to tell anybody that you don't believe that that's why they are distributing these photos. You always have to be vigilant, okay? Because this is what happens in the UK. A lot of people are not vigilant. They're not aware about the surroundings. They're not aware of the people that they're engaging with and these doors that are being opened. Now, I started having a lot of serious thoughts because some of these women that were on Jessica's panel, I don't want to go into it too much, but some of these women, in some of their bios, there was basically protecting children and stuff. And then I started to think about the people that wanted Jessica to be in these servers, to be doing Discords, to be doing WhatsApps. And she has said on multiple occasions she doesn't want to be in them kind of servers. She doesn't want to be in WhatsApp groups. You have to start questioning why these people want to be in these WhatsApp groups, want to be in these servers. Okay, and when you're in these servers and you say things like, "Oh, hi, it's Emily. Emily's just gone out Easter hunting today. Do you like her dress?" You don't know. You don't know, right? Why them women, or potentially a woman that's with a man, because they can do it together. They can. Let me just rewind your memory, and I'm really sorry to say this, and I really do want to really open your eyes because a lot of people never actually discuss the seriousness of what I'm about to say. Now, a couple of months ago, there was a situation with this guy called Joker from the Toxic team, and Jenny and Angel and some of them decided to do an awareness. They decided, anyways, to get a family member to come up, and I didn't agree with it because I agree with child protection and child safety, and not just that as well. If you're a stepmom, you don't have basically the rights to come up here, to come up to a platform to speak about any child that's not yours and their business. Anyways, there was a woman, right, that used to say she was Joker's sister, okay? And she was pregnant at the time. Now, her boyfriend was caught out for being an ONCE, okay? And you know what she said? I stayed with him and I got my kids removed, right? So she stayed with him and she had a kid removed, right? She's not with him no more. She's pregnant. She's having this other child, right? Now, when she said that, and they all heard, not one of them blinked an eyelid. Now, from that very same day, I knew what I was dealing with when it comes to the toxic side. And I think that's why they really, really, really have gone quiet, because the more you're going to dig, the more's coming out. So it's better that you go, because if you're gone, nobody can dig and nobody's going to dig. Right? And that's exactly. So when you've got somebody like that, that's admitting to being with somebody, finding out and staying with them, do you know what her excuse was?
because you know how sick this country is. And you know the mind that this Labour government and the Conservative government have got these people thinking that they can be out here and being these kind of humans. You know what she said? You know what her excuse was? I didn't know anything different. I was scared. You know what the other people would have said? Do you know why they didn't open their mouths? Because guess what? That's a good enough excuse, isn't it? It's a good enough excuse. So some people in the comments would have been enabling and saying things like this. Yeah, some people can do it, you know, they're in abusive relationships and they don't know how to get out. You don't know what she was going through at that time. Well, I can understand that. I can understand coercive relationships. But do you know what I can't understand? Right? How that can happen. And she was how many months pregnant? 6, 7, 8 months pregnant. Okay? Already lost the children. And to me, right, it really started to make me realise this is a ring. And then what happened after that? How many other people got caught out for doing disgusting things to children on the toxic side? How many people were caught out? And how many people come forward? And lots of people. And these are the kind of people that were around Jess's community that couldn't stand me because I had a voice, wanted to try and shut me up every time I tried to speak, tried to say that my awarenesses were bad, that I never landed because they wanted to shut me up because I was always a voice of reason. I've seen it all, and trust and believe. In the end, there was no thinking that they're just sharing these kids for nothing. They've got to have an ulterior motive. This isn't power. This isn't about getting one over on somebody. When I want to get one over on somebody, okay, I'm going to put your location up. I'm going to make you aware I've found your family members. And also, whilst you're hiding behind the screen, I'm going to take pleasure with hunting you down and posting you up. And you're going to sit there and think how, why, and when, and what. And whilst I'm doing that, if I really want to get revenge, if I want to get revenge, I'm going to have you done. You're going to be hospitalised. Okay? If I'm sending you a warning, everything's getting smashed up. Okay? There's the differences in this. So with their situation, you have to see it as they're not just out here trying to dox houses, get people's things smashed up, have people battered. But this has obviously got to be predatory because they're not using children as ammunition. They are, but what kind of way? Because if they wanted to do it any other way, they would have doxed somebody's address. They would have posted the house. They would have took pictures with them outside the house. This is taking it to a whole different level. So you've got to ask yourself, if they haven't done and taken it to them other levels and doxed anybody's address, turned up to anybody's address, got anybody to turn up to anybody's address, had them battered, had them hospitalised, and really had them sued or had them arrested, then why would you think they're going to go to the lengths of getting someone's child? And you have to imagine the lengths, the lengths. Some of these grown-up individuals, which are women, are going in their workplaces and using their databases to track information down. These are the very same people that are hypocrites. The hypocrisy is absolutely wild. So for me, I have to say it like this. Nobody, when I proper come back on my Her Majesty's account, delete every video on it and start again being at peace, doing the cooking lives, never speaking about these ever again in my life, and getting back to the person that I was because I'm really broken down. They broke me. They did. And I'll tell you how they broke me. I didn't give a fuck about the accounts because the accounts were going for like 2.5 years. How they broke me was they did it in numbers, and it was a couple of things that they'd said. They did all that situation with my daughter. Then they basically said that they basically tried to put a death of a child on me. The hunting teams were the it for me. And when I really realised that they were really trying to track me down through hunting teams, you have to see it like this. There's a lot of things that has happened in my past living in care. There's a lot of things that I know what's happened to me before going into care. There's a lot of triggers in my life. So when you come on here, you don't expect to come across something like that. You don't expect to be around them kind of people. What they're doing in their jobs, I respect that, but it's not for me because I'm not that kind of person. I have a child. I was a single mum trying to do, what I could do on my own, trying to fight everybody and everything, and in my corner by myself. And these lot were coming in cults. So I think at one point I had over 10,000 people chiming in on me at once, and there was no way I could break when I was under the Star Wars situation, because there were too many people coming in at me at once. I had every single big creator. I had all of them, lying and saying that I'd basically come for a child that's died, which wasn't the truth. I only tried to put out the awarenesses of what I saw them doing on social media, because I don't believe anybody should be using disabled children and weaponizing them on social media for financial gain. And I will always stick by that because that's who I am. That's how I've been raised in care. We stick together. We stick by the care kids. We stick by any kid in the world. And that's how we are. That's just how our hearts are. That's how my morals are. I stick with, if somebody can't help themselves, I'm going to help them. I'm going to speak up for them. And also as well, there's parents that haven't actually been able to have their say, and certain other individuals as well during some of the awarenesses that I've put out. They haven't been able to have their say. And I will always have a lot of love and respect for them. And when it's their time to get their stories out and their awareness is out and let their voices be heard, justice will be served automatically. And that won't be in the courts, that won't be at the police station. That will be the true definition of somebody. You should never listen to certain things, especially when people are not apologising. A lot of people said a lot of things during some of the awarenesses that I also taken up myself. A lot of people had a lot of things to say, and their names weren't mentioned during any of the awarenesses when the Hardys did all that to me recently. None of them, Luke the Judge, none of them was mentioned, Pearl Price, and every other creator that had something to say, which was a lot worse than what I had to say during my awarenesses, because all I ever asked for was the receipts of where the money went, and whatever else they put out, I'd questioned. I think a lot of them tried to end me. And I think if I really would have let them, I would have ended myself. I was getting to the point where I really wanted to end myself. I didn't want to be here. I wanted to, at one point, do it to them online so they could live with it. But I don't want to do anything like that. I want to be here. I want to be strong. And I think the weed, it's like me being psychotic, my mental health, my split personality, my ADHD, everything, even down to my parenting, down to the people that I love that are telling me, you need to get better, you need to be with peace, you need to read your Bible, just go to the sauna, go to the sunbeds, we'll come around. I couldn't get out of that space. All I could focus on with these people that have done this to me, the faces, where they are, who they are, and it become a constant cycle of I cannot sleep, I cannot eat, I cannot breathe. I lost amounts of weight because I wasn't eating, because I couldn't stop looking at them. I had to spend months finding out who were trolling me behind these accounts, and they had a lot to say about me. And in the end, I found out, and I did tell them in the end that when I'd come back, and I will be at peace then, and to be able to speak on these podcasts. And the reason why I haven't said some of the names is because I want to deal with them, in not just me, but we want to deal with them personally. You do not get to, with the Happy Apple account, the reason why we wanted so badly to find out who that account was, because a couple of months ago, I think they have selective memory, they actually said to me with the female old order account, we've been putting mass reports into the social services, you're going to lose your daughter. And this was constant. This is what they were saying to me when I was in lives. This is what were coming through on these messages. And this is why, from the beginning, I had to keep calm with Justin for all of that time, for reasons, because she was also engaging with trolling me. It got serious. And when I said to you all a few weeks ago, I found these people that have been trolling me, and even with the Happy Apple, that's not just her own. That's not just the account that she was trolling me on. She has other accounts which she hasn't taken down yet, but we're going to get to that at some point. That just won't be now. Um, that really hurt me because I don't know why she couldn't have been woman enough to go on her real account and actually say what she thought about me. Whereas when she see me come on my account and say everything with chest, I've never had to make a fake account up to troll somebody. Now that showed me that you wasn't woman enough or man enough to come on your account and to speak to me and tell me in a box exactly how you thought about me. And that's what it is with some of these people. Now, what I thought as well is looking at them, because I've got them all. This is like a dictionary, okay? And I can take you up to more than 1,000 pages. These individuals that have been trolling me, they're not me. They don't look like me. Now, when I first come on this app, right, I used to be called female daughter. I used to have a massive ego, okay? I used to show off a lot, what I had and whatever. And it really come across wrong when I first come on. And I realised the more I'd show off, the more I'd post, the more people hated me. Honestly. Now if I would have posted, right, with my face full of spots and acneed up, they would have loved me. If I would have been in a domestic violence relationship and I would have come on and my face would have been battered and bruised, they would have loved me. But because I was this person that lived in care and I had everything together, they didn't like me from the start. So what I did, right, was years down the line, I just started hiding stuff myself with my life. And that's when, right, I forgot myself. I really lost myself. That's when I really lost myself because I should have just been the person that I wanted to be. And because so many people didn't like the way I was or what I was putting out, and it was they were hating on me because I was doing good. I had nice, and there was nothing that they could say. They hated. But I used to sit there and think if I was in a bad situation, they would support me. So I just never started posting anything like that and started being a bit weird with what I was posting. And then I ended up coming across Jess and Lou again. And from when I come across them two and did the awarenesses from them both being bullied, so Lou's review were getting bullied by all the people she sat with now, and Jess was getting bullied by all the people that she sat with now. Now they were all bullying her, bullying each other, and they come to my panel. This was almost a year ago. And I sorted that out. That's when Sharon made the fake suicide attempt. That's when I first met Sharon. I really hated Sharon at that point. And then a couple of days down the line, I couldn't affect her. She wasn't affected. You know how she used to get affected? She wasn't affected by anything. You could say anything, she wasn't affected. You could run your mouth, she wasn't affected. Nothing would affect her. So one day I decided to play mind fuck games with her. And I said, I need to take this to the next extent. I need to mess with her head because she's not moving. Nothing is getting past her. And it really started pissing me off. Anyways, this one day, and I do regret it, this one day, she was on the live and I was on my live and she was cam-2ing over. She was sitting on the sofa. Yeah, sitting on the sofa, looking like untouchable. Okay? Sounding untouchable, sounding unbothered. Unbothered, yeah, unbothered. Sat on the sofa, unbothered. And I thought to myself, fuck this. Now, I turned around and said that I basically got in contact with Sharon's work and something to do with her being an nonce, okay? Shouldn't have said it. Anyways, she went crazy. Because I'm saying to her on the cam, go to Sharon's live now and say to her, just say, let's say, for instance, let's say John. Go over to the live now and ask about John. Go over to the live, guys, now and go over to Sharon's and ask her about John. Because I'll tell them all about John, right? So in her head, she's losing it, and she lost it. And from that day, right, I really wanted to be in her presence. And I did. And it was a fire starter thing where she had this glass. She set the fire in a house in this glass thing. That day, right, I'd never had so much adrenaline rushing through my veins. That was the first day I went bad. It was the adrenaline that was rushing through. I don't know what she did that day on the live. I don't know if it was the fire starting music in the background. I don't know if it was her burning the fire and the police brigade coming. I don't know if it was Miss Blue just sitting there loving every second of it and the comments going wild. This is when we was all unfavourited. I don't know if any of you remember them days unfavourited, but it was wild. Now, that was the first ever taste of, I don't know, it was just this wild feeling of I want more. I want more of this. And it went non-stop with Sharon. Yeah, yeah, I do blame a bit on her. It was non-stop with her. She was uncontainable. She was like fire. You couldn't. She just attracted. It was like she was like metallic. She's like a magnet. And even if you hated her, she, if it was one of the rants or something was something was electrifying about her. And I just stuck with her from then. I did them awarenesses, and I should never have done them awarenesses with Lose Reviews and with Jess. Now it was my fault because after that live, I didn't go back over to Jess's and I didn't go over to Lose Reviews. And a couple months later, I ended up in Jess's live and I went in a box. Now you have to imagine, I've known Jess for almost 5 years, a lot longer than any one of them that sat in them boxes and have been around a lot longer. Because I knew when she first come on the app, we used to do battles together with Jem Zeno and the rest of them. We never used to be in any of the drama. So I've known her for a long time. So that's why, from when she come in my live that day to stop the bullying, that's why a couple months later I've gone in her live. Now, when I've gone in her live, that was my biggest mistake. Because from that day when I've gone in her live, okay, my life changed. And I have not been the same since. Okay? I have not been the same since. Now, I have tried to forget about it. I have tried to move on before. I have spent months trying to forgive. I've spent months trying to think about Ramia. I've spent months trying to think about not going to jail. I've spent months reflecting on everything. I don't think I can do any more reflecting. Um, and it really hurt. And what hurts is that I allowed myself, me, to go around somebody like Jess that doesn't have a child, doesn't have anything in common with me all my life, and downgrade myself to them levels. I'm ashamed. And I'm not just saying that. I am ashamed. I honestly am. So if I can give you any advice, yeah, and I'm giving you this for your own benefit, just remember who you are. Remember what you have around you. Okay? Understand if you can go to these lengths mentally in your mind, just be prepared. Be prepared from what you're going to be giving out in the end if you take yourself down these paths. Now, it doesn't just go on the person that's doing it to you, it goes on the people that are also around because they also start having opinions. They also start chiming in, and you can get yourself really ill. The best thing I did was allow my daughter to go with the dads. The best thing I did was deactivate my main account. The best thing I did was not come up here anymore and scream and shout. Because the reality is, like, look, I had lots of people on here. I've blocked them all because I don't want them near me. I don't care. I don't want them in the live. I've told Rob he can't come in the box because that's another situation as well. And I don't want to say this in a nasty way, but it has to be said. I've always had Rob's back, and he did that to me for no reason. And I asked him, why did you do that to me? For what? Some notoriety and some fucking clout. And he explained to me what was getting said in the background, what happened. But it's still damaging. Now you can say sorry, you can forget about it. And people, you can feel sorry for yourself. But he had a chance to put that right plenty of times. Now I know he's tried, but he also as well has played a big part with, mine and Warrior's relationship with other people. And I have said this to Warrior, you have lost a lot of people and you're going to continue to lose a lot of people surrounding yourself with him. Now, is he giving you anything? Is he being a friend the way you're being a friend? Is he helping you the same way you're helping him? Is he helping you strive? Is he going to help you strive if he was put in a situation? No. He even lied and said he would give her the £3,000. And then 3 weeks later, he changed his mind because he's self-sufficient. He's self-absorbed. And for me, I get it. I get it. But I am one of them people. I'm kind and generous. I'm nice. And I'm not fake. And I would never, ever do anybody the way you did me. There's a lot of things, trust and believe, I could have said. But the line of work that I'm into and the reputation that I need to withhold, I could never be out here saying what I really want to say. Because I could have done a lot of damage also. So there's a lot of people, when you're looking at them, they don't meet the eye of what you're looking at. And I've wanted revenge. I've wanted to have my own payback on what Rob's done to me also. But the reality is leave him to his own devices because he's not worth my time. He's not worth me being angry over. He's going to have to live with the fact that he did that to somebody that he's supposed to have cared about. Somebody that didn't throw him under the bus when she could have done plenty of times. Somebody that still tried to see sense even after the situation of what you put yourself in, only because of the evidence, because I'm fair. Would anybody else, or would Rob have the same courtesy for me? No, because Rob thinks about himself. So I have to think about Lakeisha, and I also have to think about my mental health. I have to think about potentially certain individuals could be wanting me to be involved with stuff so they can fuck me over. Certain individuals might want me to say stuff online so I can be cancelled. Certain individuals might want to try and have my accounts taken down. Do you get it? You have to be 10 steps ahead. And I'm trying to say this to you before I go off and have a little break. Please, okay, look after yourselves. Just remember, when it involves my daughter, you will not ever get away with that. And that's the only thing why anything will ever occur. Because you were involved with whatever you were involved with when it comes to my daughter. Anything else, I don't care. The troll accounts will be exposed. Because what's going to happen is this. I think when you're thinking I'm saying the troll accounts are going to be exposed, right, I'm going to give you an example. I'm friends with a couple of people that have FYP pages, and I'm very fair. So if you come for me and you're biased, I will have your account removed. And I will tell you that on my live. And in the next 72, on the 24, I will have it removed. And every time I've said it, I've had it done. Whether you've got it back 3 weeks later, I've had it done. Okay? I don't care if you want to be an FYP host and you want to share everything because that's what you want to do. I'm not interested in that. I don't go for people for that. I don't report people's accounts for that. I'm not malicious, right? What I care about is when you're going to come for me and you're going to solely come for me and base an account on me. And you are going to tell me on that account that you're trying to have my daughter removed. Things like that we do not forget. And what needs to happen is when I put this podcast out there, it's going to help so many people so you can identify what a troll account is and what a biased account is and what an FYP account is. because they're three different things. Now, you also have to take into consideration a lot of these people that are claiming to be FYP pages and they never want to be seen behind the camera. So they're obviously hiding for a reason. We have the technology, the money, and the time to find out who you are. And when I say that, I'm not capping. I've just showed you on numerous occasions. How is it possible for me to find you after all of that time? It doesn't happen overnight. We're able to do that. And this is how we've been able to find out what's what and who's who. I will not aim and target accounts that are biased and not just solely coming for me. So when I do this podcast, what's going to happen is this: young children that are 18, 19, 20 and onwards need to know when they are coming on here, there's a dark side to TikTok, what a lot of people are not speaking about, and it's called trolling. It's also called having cults. It's also called when one person doesn't like one person, the other person doesn't like them, and then the other person sets up a troll account and they're all trolling together, okay, together, and it becomes where somebody's going to end up taking their life. These people need to also be aware of what they're doing as well as a criminal offence, and it's against the guidelines, so it becomes up as a criminal offence, especially when you're doing it as malicious communication. You need to see it from what an FYP page is. There's a couple on here that none of them are arrestable offences because they're only posting what you've posted. They're not doing it in a malicious way. And you also have to see how they're writing things as well. When you're targeting somebody, an individual, solely, and you are tagging other individuals that are bullying and harassing them as well, that's when it becomes malicious communication. That's when it becomes a hate crime. It's totally different when you have a normal FYP page and you are not being biased and you are not targeting specifically one person. You are not tagging multiple other creators in that are also targeting and bullying that person as well. So for me, when I'm doing this podcast, it's going to make people aware. You have to be careful with who you're modding. You have to be careful with these kind of communities that you're going in. You have to be careful with these unconfident people that will never come on the camera and show themselves and reveal themselves because they're not confident people. That is why they're behind these accounts trolling, because they could never come on the camera. They're not confident enough. They don't look good enough to be able to express their thoughts and feelings about somebody else that they are having an opinion on. They're not strong enough. They're not worthy enough. They are not confident enough. They're not pretty enough. They're not educated enough to come on the camera face to face with the person that they're wanting to have a conversation and wanting to put down. That stems from being bullied at school. That stems from low self-esteem. And all these other things that come with it. You also have to ask yourself the age range of the people that are trolling and the other individuals that are helping them troll. These are people that have got children, that have been in domestic violence relationships, have been with people that have been with NONCs and been caught out, have been with people where the children have been molested. That is why you are around cults, that the children have been molested. They are happy to come up and say, yes, I was with somebody that was molesting children and I stayed with them. Or I was on drugs and I did that. But because I was on drugs, I can get away with it. Or I'm in recovery. So please, don't come for me for what I did 3 weeks ago because I'm in recovery. There's all these things that the excuses after excuses after excuses. And this is what's happening on the app, right? We can do something 6 months ago, but we can blame it on the drugs. We can do something, we can stay with a partner that's been sexually assaulting people and abusing people, but we can just say, we didn't know right from wrong. And it's okay, a bunch of TikTokers will excuse it because they're also the same. And what you're dealing with is not every panel that you're going to go into them individuals, it's what you're attracting. So I'm attracting peddlers, I'm attracting groomers, I'm attracting paedophile rings. And this is how I'm having to see it because of everything that's gone on, the things that have been said, the kind of individuals that have been caught with, the people that we've been around. This is what I'm exposing. So that is what I want to leave with today. You have to protect the children. You also have to protect the identities of children. People need to stop coming on this app and using disabled children, and also people that have had disabled children and children that are no longer here. You need to stop clout chasing off of other people's disabled children. It's a disgrace. Okay, it's a disgrace that people in 2026, there's millions of families across Britain, that families are in need of benefits for their disabled children. There's millions of families that are currently having to deal with 24-hour around the clock care without any carers, without any money, without any special assistance, without any GoFunding, without any help of any communities. People need to stop using this app and using disabled children, using autism, using any kind of disability to financially gain off of individuals that do and cannot have to say themselves. I really, 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 really get angry. It makes me upset, it makes me sick. Because watching disabled people, they can't do anything. They cannot do anything, not one thing. Not some of them can't walk. They can't even tell you what's happening. And I think it's sick. It really infuriates me. So people that support people that are constantly trying to receive notoriety, trying to gain off of disabled people, trying to monetize off disabled people, you need to really look at yourself in the mirror. You need to be ashamed. You need to look at yourself in the mirror and say to yourself, I am a money grabbing, cash cow person. And all I think about is myself and any bit of money I can get my hands on. Because I'm just one of these people in society that use disabled people and weaponize them for financial gain. Honestly, and this is why God works in mysterious ways. God works in mysterious ways because he knows evil from the start. And our paths are already wrote out. And you see, when God knows when people are out here from the get-go, already having it in their minds to use the weak and the vulnerable from the start, you will not get children. You will not get to have that kind of life. You will not get to have, you will not get to endure, experience that kind of happiness because all our lives are already wrote out. And when you're born and God knows you're either a giver or you're a taker, and when God knows that you're a taker, that's how things happen. Things will stay permanent in your life. I'm a giver. I'm a giver, and I always will be. So please protect the children from being doxxed by these individuals, which are grown-ups. Protect disabled people from being exploited on social media for financial gain. And protect the vulnerable. And I hope that you have a good couple of weeks, okay? I've got a lot of things that I want to get done. A lot of things that I want to get done. But I want to be able to take this time out for myself and just be able to breathe. Today I've had 3 baths at a Carvery and I feel a bit better about myself. I'm not looking online 24/7. I've blocked everybody from my WhatsApp. I sent all my last messages last night to everybody. And I knew once I go into this transition, anybody from the past that did not contact me from last night, that is it. All of them. And I've put it out on my Snapchat as well, just to make them know I'm going to be taking a couple of weeks off. I sent a couple of people a few messages on here as well today. So I don't want you to worry about me thinking, Keisha's lost her mind. I wonder what she's doing. Is she going to be hospitalised? No, you need to see it as when I come back, I'm going to be in love with myself. I'm going to be on the camera cooking. And guess what as well? I've only gone and done my house now. So basically, it's not done, but I have, and I've basically, so I haven't bought everything, but I know the vision of my house now. So when I come back, like even in my kitchen with like the door stuff where it's silver, I've changed it all to gold. And like my new tap, I've changed that as well to gold. So when I come back, you'll see all the little changes that I've done in my kitchen. It looks like a totally different kitchen. And the house as well. How it is, you wouldn't believe it. Now I did get some help with designing it and how I was gonna have it, and it's more neutral, more calm and content with a little bit of luxury. I say the kitchen looks more luxury than what the front room's gonna. So you're not gonna get a full tour when I come back, but what will happen is, say for instance, when I'm on my live on my return, because I won't be behind the camera like this, I'll be fully on the camera, because by the time then I will be a size 12. When all of yous have sat there and thought, why does she keep saying she needs to be a size 12? How can she get to a size 12? Well, I'm supposed to be a size 12. My dad's a Jamaican, my mum's a Romanian gypsy. Okay, so my body is supposed to be thick. My cheeks are supposed to be filled in because I've been smoking the weed and smoking the cigs and not eating and been stressing about all this stuff. I haven't had no routine of eating. I haven't had no thought process of sleeping. I haven't been drinking any water and I haven't done anything at the gym. I haven't been for a sunbed and I haven't stepped out of my house. Okay? I've been practically looking at four walls. I've only just recently managed to starting to go get my nails and my eyebrows done again. And I haven't had them done in a year and a bit. I've just gone and got a wax, which I haven't had done in over a year. Okay? I'm not going on any dates. I'm not seeing any guys. And I'm not posting any pictures or any stories. When I come back, you will see what I looked like when you saw me last time, which I look skinny and ill, which I do. Anybody that says any different, you fucking crazy. I looked ill. I did. I looked ill. Um, I looked very ill. When you see me now, then you'll understand. When I come back, I will be filled out. So my whole body will be filled out. That's because I'm not smoking the weed and I've been doing all the right things. When I come back, I'm going to do the podcast. I'm going to do the interviews, like going around and speaking to random people, because I'm good at speaking to anybody. I can go into random restaurants and get food for free and do the food reviews. I'm going to be doing all of that stuff. I'm going to be doing the pranks, because I am really funny when I get into the pranks and I can't stop once my ADHD kicks in. There's no stopping me. We're going to be feeding the homeless on a regular basis. And I mean feeding them, not just like food for one person, a food for a lot of people. We're going to be giving that out and we're going to be doing it as content where I'm not going to be putting the faces up. It's just me giving them the food and going around. And my last one, which is going to be my biggest one, is going to be me on the camera. I'm not going to do anything to do with FYP, anything to do with drama, anything to do with, did you see what that person said? I'm just going into box battles with Gem Zeno and anybody else that I meet going into the battles, and I'm making my money through the battles. And that is it. And doing the cooking lives. That is all I'm doing when I come back. Yes, a couple of people are going to come in my comment sections and say things to me, and I'm going to automatically block them. Whilst I get off, I'm still going to have this account on, but I'm not going to have the Majesty because I need that account. I need it to be fresh. How I did it before, went off for a couple of months, left it, and it was fresh, and that's how I've been able to sustain that account for all this time. Now, do not think I'm going to be posting on here, because I'm not. And I know I've said it a couple of times. It's only because every time I've said I want to get off, Warrior has messaged me or somebody's messaged me and said, can you go up this, that and the other? And I've now said to myself, I have to be able to make decisions myself, and I can't do it. I can't do it. So I love Warrior, and I know she's got my best interest, and I know these people have really done damage to us. But I also have to think of my other side of my head, which is always telling me, no, 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 just listen to your gut, Keisha, just listen to your gut. And I haven't been listening to my gut. I've been just doing what everybody else is doing, and I need to not listen to that. I need to do what Lakeisha's doing. So I have fucked up. I have fucked up. I know I have, but I can't apologise. I cannot even see myself when I come back apologising. You know why? Because all I ever envision myself as a mum. When I first ever rung the council, Jessie's housing worker, it wasn't the council that I rung, it was the housing worker. I told everybody as soon as I did that. Do you know why? I'll tell you why. When I did that, I was petrified as a mother of what she were doing to me with Sharon and Nisha when they were saying that they had Sarah's laws on me, saying that they couldn't put it out because the police would come and arrest them, making people believe that this was the truth, right? Making me go through for days saying I'm grooming 13-year-old boys down, I've sexually assaulted 13-year-old boys. They were going all the way in, right? Now, you have to imagine me as a mother. All I tried to do was protect me and my daughter. And that was the first stage of me ever trying to do anything to protect myself. Not going there and taking things into my own hands, not doing any of that. It was trying to make sure that this woman would not continue. And all I could get back was, we can't do anything about it because she's just doing social media in a house. Everybody else that had something to say, even when she didn't find out about it, it's not like she told you out of her own mouth. I told you. And everybody that had something to say was saying to me, wow, I can't believe you've done that to her. And ever since, I'll always go back to that day. Do you know why? Because I was a single mother, right? That didn't do anything. These individuals were saying this stuff about me, and she wouldn't stop. And when she was on her panel, her panel was like a machine. Once she started, they all started, and they wouldn't stop. All I could think about was somebody petrol bombing my house. All I could think about was me walking out the door with Ramir and somebody stabbing me. These are the thoughts that I could not get out of my mind. So when I was ringing and trying to protect me and my daughter by ringing her, that Poojan and whatever she was, all in my mind I was thinking about was the protection, to protect me and Ramir. And you know what all they could think about was, oh my God, I can't believe you've gone and rung the housing up. I can't believe you've gone and done that to Jess. Isn't Keisha a terrible person? Now, I want you to picture this. Just sit there and imagine that being you. Just sit there in your mind. Imagine that being you. And people are saying these things about you. And you've got Sharon going, I've got Sarah's law on it. It's just come back. And you've got Nisha going, yeah, well, she can't put it out because she'll get arrested. Like the way they're doing it, the way they still do. If you was a new person and you didn't know these people, when you would have sat and listened to them, you would have believed every word that they were saying. And they were doing this day in and day out, and I couldn't stop it. I could not stop it, and it was out of my control until I tried to take control. And even then, she still didn't stop until we went to a house, and I believed that we'd slowed her down. People need to understand, when I went to her house, it wasn't just about going to her house and making her know what time it was and looking at me for her to understand what she's done. It was also as well to basically, for her to understand, you can't do this. And we slowed her down. When we slowed her down and she got out of that habit of doing what she was doing, she tried to become a better person. And you saw that with Jess. She stopped doing the nasty stuff. She stopped doing the lies. She stopped bringing people up. She stopped, putting people at fucking risk. And then she started again. And that's when it all started again for me. Because it was like, now I need to even protect myself even further because this isn't going to stop. And for me, it was always ever protecting me and my daughter until the end. It got too much. So I can't sit back and say that I regret anything that I've done and said. I can't. And even when recently I've lost my head and said things, what people would have said, well, I wouldn't have said that. You might have thought it in your head, but you're not going to say it out of your mouth. Unfortunately, if you would have experienced and gone through what I've just gone through with all the people and the cults and the things that they were saying about me and the things that they've thought that they've got away with, how they've been towards me, what they've said in comments, the trolling accounts and stuff like that, you are going to get to the point in the end where you're going to think, fuck it. And I'll give you an example before I go why. Look at the Tom situation. I don't need to sit here and tell you what he's done. But is there any outrage? Was there any outrage? Did anybody else have the same energy in the comments? Were others doing pages telling them to get off the app? Did anybody else spending hours doing lives on them? No. Do you know why they come for me? Because I was black. I was of colour. I was an easy target. So the outrage for them, if I would have done what they've been doing, the outrage would have been different. And imagine, right? I want to leave you with this. These people that have been coming for me, just picture this. All of them, and every single one of them, except for Chris, all of them have been caught out doing something. All of them have been caught out being a part of something. All of them have been caught out doing something sinister. All of them have been, most of them, and some of them have been caught out in group chats. So when they've been coming for me for months, putting my awarenesses down, putting me down, you know, saying how I speak, that I think I'm better than people and what I think I'm a lawyer and all this and all that, it made me realise in the end with this Tom situation, no matter what I do and what I say, because I'm black and I can speak and I'm confident enough to speak and I can land what they've tried to take away from me, I get treated differently to how they get treated differently. So the moral of the story is it doesn't matter anymore, because no matter how much I scream and shout from this day forward, they can kidnap a kid tomorrow, and guess what? Nobody is going to blink an eyelid. But if I kidnap a kid tomorrow and do all the things that they've all been caught out for, there'd be a lot to say about me. And that is the difference. That's when you know, yeah, these people as well, before I go as well, I've realised as well, I have a chance. I always have. I'm gonna say this as well. In my life, I always go up and down. And the thing that I do admire about myself is my strength. I'm ashamed of what I've put myself in. I'm ashamed of the people that I've been around. I don't regret anything that I've done. I don't regret sending anything or doing anything when it comes to my daughter. I wish I would have been able to hold back and some of the things that I've just openly said. But when you see other people getting away with things the way they all have and being caught out for the things they all have, it gets to the point where you're thinking in the end, fuck it, just say it. Do you know why? Because they can do that, they can say that, and nothing happens to them. And I think for the end with me, it got to the point where I just believed I could say what the fuck I wanted to say, and I didn't feel any kind of way. I didn't feel. I felt out of control. I couldn't control it, even to the point where the last couple of weeks, I've wanted to come on the live and be calm. I couldn't be calm. No matter how many times I tried to be calm, whether it was 10 minutes on the live, 5 minutes into it, I couldn't be calm. I couldn't. How I've been calm today, I've been calm now because I know I'm going into that season. I spoke to Ramia today as well, and there's a couple of things where I know I feel a bit of relief. There's a lot of people that love me, and there's a lot of people that value who I am. I just need to get better for myself, and that's it. Once I'm better, guess what? They're still going to be there. They're still going to be there. So if I spend now 7 months healing, being the best version of myself and actually just getting out there in the world and doing things that make me better, like how Delmac did and just got off for that 6 months. You can't be mad at that. That's what I need to do. So I love yous too, guys. I do love yous, and I do listen. I do get a bit. I do get a bit. I do get a bit of thing where I'm thinking sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I think I want to come on live, or at night time I get bored and think I want to come on live. But I've got to think I've got to get better for myself as well. I've ordered lots of food, so I'm not cooking for myself. So I've got lots of food. I mean protein. So from now, I won't be cooking any meals at all in my house. Everything's going to be cooked for me. So I'll have it all in bags and stuff, and then I just fry it up, and that's going to work out better with my journey on getting a lot better because I wore skin and bones, and it was really scary to watch myself deteriorate like that, body wise, mind, soul, heart. My heart was broke. My heart still is broken, but I'm not broken. I'm not broken. I can definitely 100%. I can get past this. The last but not least is the two upsetting things was getting to the stage and my doing it to myself. They was the most upsetting things for myself to be able to come to terms with. Doing it to myself, and basically because I didn't need to do it to myself. I could have just turned a blind eye. I could have forgot about it and moved on. I could have not smoked the weed and just moved forward with whatever were happening at that time without like, smoking the weed and trying to escape that kind of way. There was a lot of other things that I could have used as coping mechanisms when a lot of things have been put in front of me. And now I have to see all of that. Trust me. So I'm going to do all the right things and I will see you all. And like I said, I am going to get my teeth done. That's the only surgery that I'll be having on my return. But when I come back on the return, I'm not going to do it where I'm going to show you all I've had my teeth done. What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to come on the live. So even when I first have the teeth done, somebody might say to me, when did you get your teeth done? And I'll just say a couple months ago. I might have had them done that week. So I'm not going to come on either and start doing any of that. I'm not even putting up that I've had them done. I'm doing everything in my life, yeah, very quietly. And even when I come back on, I'm going to give less, and have more. So more in front of me, but less out of my mouth and not do any of that. Whole brand my house, brand my wardrobe, brand my makeup, brand my bras, brand my underwear, brand the sprays, brand my bathroom, everything. So when I come on live, I have everything there and nobody can say your house is empty, this is empty, that's this, that's this. I have everything prepared and that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going into wanting the best for myself. I just am. I am upset that I've let myself get to this, but I'm also grateful that I have an opportunity, that I've got health, here still, that I've still got life. I can breathe, I can walk, I can talk, I can see. I have to be grateful. I have to be fully grateful. I can eat. I've got nothing wrong with me. I have to be grateful. There's a life out there, and that's all I need to keep feeding into myself. Thank you to everybody that still supported me, guys. I really do appreciate it. And honestly, I will see you on my return, and it'll only be for the best. So don't be thinking me and Warrior's falling out or anything like that because we haven't. We're just having a distance relationship behind the scenes. Mwah. And with Warrior, the thing with Warrior is, right, I did the dangerous thing about with me and Warrior is in the ending was she has ADHD, right? And I have ADHD. So I buzzed off of her. So I got this buzz, which is dangerous for me because once I'm in that mindset, there's no stopping me. So when I'm like this, I can't be around anybody. That's also dangerous because the way I can do things and what I want doing is I don't want anybody, ever thinking to themselves, for fuck's sake, she's not, she don't fuck around. So sometimes certain people can be around you and you can love them, but you can also say to them, me being around you in reality is there's a lot more things that can happen because I am actually the dangerous one. So when you're around people, anybody, steps to Warrior, I could be that person she could ring and I could say, Warrior, I'll have somebody there with you within 20 minutes. It's not a problem, babe. But she also needs to be careful with what she tells me because you don't know who you're coming across. So with my relationship with Warrior, for now, until I'm healed, until I'm in a better place, I have to step away from all of this and never have any conversations with her about any of this. Trust and believe that. And I love her, and she's really, really, really been there for me. She'd never have argued with her at the start, but I did argue with her at the start because I didn't like the fact that she put Tammy and the other person under the bus, but she's explained all of that. It's just the way I am. She's done things, I've done things, we've both slagged each other off, and it's in the past. I want to grow with her because I do see potential with her helping me on some of the stuff on my return when it comes to benefiting me and helping myself, nutrition, health wise. That's how I want her to go back into. I don't want her to be uploading these creeps and doing what I've just done for the past year and a bit. I don't want her to be involved with any of these lot because when I first met Warrior, she was a charity-based person. She was going out with the homeless. She was doing events. She was uplifting people. People would go in the live and it was positive. She might have only had 12 people in the live, but she was still, a positive person. And I believe that's why people went round and stole that and took that light from her. Because when they went around, it was Jess, can you do these posters? Lovely Warrior, yeah, I'll do the posters. And then after she's done the posters, your posters were shit. I don't want you to do the posters now. And then look, Warrior's now another human being that was positive, only tried to do best for people, but got shat on. And it's constantly. And then you have to say to yourself, well, why is that person turned? Why don't they do positive lives anymore? Because it's the people that you associate yourselves around. I do look back, and this is one time I've done this, and it's been recently. I do look back now and think to myself, I wish I would have been one of them viewers that would have just sat on the live and watched it all play. But like I said, there is a chance to turn this around. And what gives me, not just what gives me the courage and what gives me the vision, knowing that I can turn this around is two things. In my life, I've turned it around so many times. From the age of 13 till now. Yeah, I've turned it around. I can't tell you how many times I've been on the ground and turned it around. I can't tell you how many times I've done bad and turned it around, but I've done it. And the second thing is this. I've always respected Elsa because if she can have a past, be angry, be in wars, want to be fighting everybody, and then she can go to jail, do rants, and then takes herself away and works on herself and beats the trolls, beats the haters, and smiles and dances with success. That, yeah, is what I want to be able to be encouraged to be like. That is the motivation. That is what I'm going for. Because that is what I can think to myself and say, I don't want to be like her, but I want to take a page out of a book. I want to be able to say to myself, there's a little bit of her, that's a little bit of me. People can lose themselves, but it's how you find yourself and it's how you beat the people that have been doing this to you and how you got yourself in this in the first place. And if I keep reminding myself that and keep doing, because I know who I am, I know the levels of where I can be. I don't need to be stuck in this. If I keep being stuck in this, there's nothing for me in my life. I might as well be in the ground. Honestly, I should have been And if I didn't have Ramia, I would have been the highest paid escort about. If I didn't have my daughter, I probably would have been the highest paid escort about. The only reason why I'm not and never been an OnlyFans and never done any of that is because I've had Ramia. Honestly, if I didn't have my daughter, I would have been a millionaire, and I would have been with everybody that's worth money. So for me, I know my worth in life. I know my worth isn't doing them kind of things that they've put on my name. I know I'm not out here going to hotels and soliciting myself. I know I'm not sleeping with guys for money. Because if I was, and I ever was, I would never be in this situation. I'd be in Monaco on a private yacht. I'd be in high-end shops. I'd have the best of the best. And trust me, I wouldn't be emotionally struggling online. I'd have a private life. So in my life, I've been accused of a lot of things, and a lot of people have said a lot of things about me and said, I've prostituted myself out, I solicitate myself to men. No, I've met loads of men. Some of them I haven't slept with. Some of them I might have slept with. Some of them I have slept with. Now, if they want to, spend and they want to give me a good time and they want to cater for all my needs before I'm even in their presence, then that's what they're going to do. Nobody should be upset over that. And that's all I've ever done in my life. I've never solicited myself for the cash exchange, but I have been around people that have wanted to provide for me. That's not soliciting yourself. So a lot of people have said that as well about me as well. And it hasn't hurt me. It hasn't hurt me because if it was the truth, I'd be bloody flowing in diamonds. I'd be having the best of cars. And I think at that point, the truth hurts, doesn't it? And when you're seeing everything around, the luxurious lifestyle, because that's what obviously it's going to consist of, to why I would be doing something if that was the case. The truth would hurt because around me I'd have everything that I desire. And I wouldn't be sad. I'd be like Chloe Khan. I'd be in Mayfair 24/7 shopping until I'm dropping. So yeah, people have a different concept of me. I'm a very strange person. I'm very particular. I'm very particular with how I dress for people. If I go on a date, and it depends who it is, I'm very particular with how I dress. I'm very particular with what shoes I wear. I'm very particular with how my makeup is. I'm very particular with how I have my nails done, what kind of underwear I'm wearing. I am very particular with every guy I've ever come across with how I am, and it depends on how that guy is or how I meet them. If I feel like I just want to whatever, then I'm only going to dress a certain way. If I really want it to be somebody that I really want to spend my time with, and I feel like I want them to take me out on dates, I'm going to dress up in a dress. I'm going to dress up in a heel. I'm going to dress up differently. I don't just dress up the same for every single guy that I meet. They get treated differently to how they treat their girls differently. And this is what women forget in society. Whereas me, and this is why the guys run me down. This is why the guys want me back, because I'm different to how other women are. And when I do meet a guy, I don't spend my time getting to know everything about them. I'm not really interested. I'm not really interested in mostly about the backgrounds. I don't really ask too many questions. I don't run anybody down. I don't ring phones. I'm not into that. I can see you today and not see you again. I'm not into any of that. I'm very weird with who I spend my time with, who I lay down with, who I take money off with, who I kiss, who I fucking lick, who I suck, who I F. Whatever I do, even if it's with 3 people and 3 bad bitches, whatever I do, trust me, that's off my own back. Nobody could ever force me into doing things that I don't want to do. And if I was doing something, them kind of things in my life, I would own it. because it's not a criminal offence and I wouldn't be ashamed. So all of yous take care, guys, and I'll see you in a couple of months, okay? Love yous. Mwah. Love yous all so much, guys. Please be kind to yourselves. Look after yourselves and I wish the best for you. I really do. Even to my enemies at the back, I really do wish you get to my enemies at the back. I really do wish you well. Honestly, your mind, your body, your soul. I hope you get better. I hope you heal from the traumas of your trolling. I hope you heal from within, from not wanting to watch somebody's life as much. I hope your life becomes consistent with positive things, and I hope you can heal from whatever's hurt you, so you don't have to hurt others. You don't have to troll others. Honestly, I'm wishing you the best, all of yous as well, even to the people that watch it. Love you so much, and I will see you all in a positive couple of months.